So today we're going to look at some very basic bass accompaniment for jigs. And the very basic bass accompaniment, which a lot of Irish players don't use very much, but is common in other styles of music, particularly English music, is to play a bass chord boom ching. Now, even if you won't make much use of this, you will make some use of it from time to time. And so it's a skill that you should learn, and even if you forget about it immediately afterwards. Okay? So the tune we're going to use is a very simple tune, and it is particularly suited to learning this kind of accompaniment because of its structure. It's a jig known as Off She Goes. Well, you'll recognize it, the first part, as the tune to Humpty Dumpty. So I'm going to show you the tune, and I'll explain why it works well for the bass accompaniment, and then we'll get straight into it, okay? The right hand melody, in case you don't know it, you should learn this. Off she goes, Humpty Dumpty. So just make sure you've got at least the first part of that tune learned before we start playing the basses. Okay, so let's go on with the basses. We're going to be playing this kind of accompaniment, and the reason why you see immediately Off She Goes is a very good tune for learning this thing, because in the first part especially you've got a lot of, on the melody side, you've got a long, short. And that corresponds exactly with the notes you're going to play on the bass. So that makes it easy, because we're going to play. Now, just practice that a few times. Nothing difficult there. A couple of things to think about. You can play the bass very staccato if you like. But don't make the right hand echo that. Don't start playing like this. Because then your melody will sound very un-Irish and un-legato. I would make the bass slightly longer and keep the chord short, but try to keep the legato feel of the melody. Okay, so there's the first little phrase, just two, it's one bar actually. So far so good. Now the next little phrase introduces the difficulty, which is not that great, but you have to break the synchronicity between the right and left hand, because the right hand is going, and for the chord we're going to go. So we're going to be playing one note on the right hand without anything happening on the bass hand. So try that a few times and do it as slowly as you like. And then try and stitch it together with. Now we could say that this is a case of, let's call it 3 into 2, because we're playing 3 notes on the right hand while we play 2 on the left hand. We have another 3 into 2 here. Doing it slowly is a pain. Do it really slowly and figure out exactly what's happening. So far we've got we go Go on. So far so good. 3 against 2. I'm using the outer row F sharp here, just to make it easy for my right hand. Couple of things here about the G chord. I have in and out on my bass, which is what I recommend that people get, but you might have G on the pull and D on the push, but on this set of buttons. If you do, doesn't make any difference. If you play the F sharp on the outer row, you're going to get a pull F sharp here against a G chord, which is a bit of a clash. The thing is, it's so fast that nobody minds. If you played the F sharp on the row, it's the same thing for me, because I've still got the G chord on the push, but you might have a D chord on the push, in which case it would sound like slightly more harmonious, because that's my push D. But really, because it's just a ching, it's really so short. And a lot of the time when you're playing basses, if you slow things down and play the melody note against the bass, there is a clash. But harmonically with the tune, it works because we're holding the G chord. So don't worry about the clash. And I would play on a C sharp D box, I would definitely play my F sharp there for ease and smoothness of phrasing. So there, that's the first part. Let's do it slowly together. Here we go. You can see I'm not perfect in this myself, especially when I start thinking about it. But anyway, that's the first part of the tune. Once you've got that under your belt, you can go on to the second part, which will be a little bit more tricky to get going. Let's look at it. Now here's the melody for the second part of the tune. So we've finished. So as far as the basses go, because it's nearly all 3 into 2 in the second part, so your holiday is over, now you're into the thick of things. First phrase. Second phrase. And then back to. So you can see what needs to be done there. I'm going to leave you to work on it and keep this video short and have fun with that. As I say, learn this technique, try it on a few jigs and see what you want to do with it.